Yo, what's up guys? Turner here. Today we're back with a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about Optic Texas. So as most of you guys know, you probably know who they are if you watch competitive COD at all. But basically this is probably the biggest team in the league. Um, I think a lot of people who don't even watch COD kind of know who they are. So yeah. We're going to get right into it. So what I have right here is I'm just basically what I'm gonna be doing is I'm just gonna be going through so far this split. And I have all the match stats for Optics matches in this split. So starting with the London one, um, obviously it's a 3-0 for Optic. If you look at the scoreboards, they are not pretty. 250 to 68 on Albagra Fortress. And obviously I play challengers and stuff, so I can tell you that is very, very, very hard to do. 6-2 search through and control. So this was just a dominant series. Out of Optic, obviously Dashy led the way. Um, he had a 1.81 in the series. Who kind of close behind, but yeah. So the reason I want to make the video on Optic Texas today is because I think that after the matches that we've seen this weekend, I think this is the best team by kind of a mile. Um, I don't really think there's many other teams that have looked how they look, especially in hardpoint. Um, as I get through some of the other um scoreboards, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So obviously they smoke London. This match was from a while ago. I think it was last week, maybe. Um, and then you go into their first match this week, which was Saturday. Um, and obviously you see a 3-1 against New York, which is a pretty good hardpoint team. Look here, they're able to take 2 hard points off of them, and the first one is a 100-point club. Now, this is significant because, as I just showed you right here, like, wow, that's 200-point clubs in back to back of their matches. Like, their hardpoint is far and away the best out of any team. Like, New York is a good fucking Zarquat team too. The fact that you're even able to take them down is kind of, you know, obviously that's the team that we saw win Major One, and they're just really, really good. But yeah. So take a look at that. The series stats, obviously Shotzi and Ghost here are the only ones positive, which is kind of a shock. Obviously, as most of you guys know, Dan did play in Challengers. I knew him, was acquaintances with him. I've talked to him multiple times. I think he's really good. If you guys haven't watched the eavesdrop from Hex about him, I think that was also very insightful. His story is one that I think people are starting to really like out of all the personalities they've kind of seen in the CDL. So yeah, um, Dan and Shotzi lead the way here. Shotzi has a phenomenal series, 78 kills. Closest person on his team was 60, which was Dan. Um, and the fact that they're able to just like I would say New York is more of a respawn team, and you're taking 3 respawns off of them, and the first one's dominant. And to be honest, the control kind of was too. So I think that is kind of crazy. Um, Obviously, if you look at the other teams too, I think one of the biggest reasons why you're kind of seeing some of these teams being beaten this bad is because if you look at the KDs on the other side, bro, none of them are positive. Like in this series, it's more kind of a teller, but like Hook and Dashi aren't positive. But Shotzi has so many engagements that he's actually making the entire other team negative. It's kind of insane if you think about it. Um, Also, just another thing when you look at these two, like the the thing I would say is the difference between Optic and like most of the other teams is they have 2 really good subs that kind of trade off, like going off match to match. I mean, you see Hook and Shotzi, obviously they both have a good series, but this is London, and look at the other team subs in comparison. Like obviously, Asim and Yuli just got fried. I mean, ASIM still, if you look damage, if you take everything into account, but like when you're comparing it to the other team subs, it's just not even close. Um, then you go into the New York series, where you would say Hydra is kind of like their superstar player, and Hydra's got a .96. Hook has that, and he's pretty much matching what Hydra's doing. Like, look, 52, 54, 55, 57. Like, it's not identical, but it's almost identical. He's literally matching what their second, like, their highest sub is doing, and then Shotzi's is doing way more than that. And you'll see it kind of flip flop. If I look over here at the New York or the LA Thieves one, um, you'll see Hook and Shotzi both had good series, but now Hook is the one like their pacing and the way they play. It's like one sub goes off every series or both. Like it's never like both of them are off, if that makes sense. And I think that's super important. Like their arrows aren't even really having to do much. Like if you look at this match and this match, like sure, Ghosty was positive. But like bro, Dashy's dropping a .98 for the win. Like that's kind of fucking insane when you think about it. It's literally their best player. Like what some people would have said was their best player last year, even beginning of this year maybe. Like I mean, you guys all remember those series that Dashy was having when he first got brought back into the roster. I think it's just crazy. Like the ceiling on this team is insane. Um, Also, I think one thing that you're seeing is that before these like hill time spreads did not really look like that. Like they're all kind of doing everything. Like people are saying Dan is like super soaking, but look at Shotzi's hill time. Like Shotzi's hill time is not that far off. It's 45 seconds off. And obviously that's just one series, but even here, I mean Shotzi's pretty close. Dashy has quite a bit of time here. Ghosty does have a bit more here. But they're all around a minute. And I feel like that's why their hard point is like so well. Or like it's showing so well is because they are able to just all play in or around the hill and there's not really any person playing selfish. Like they're just very cohesive at the moment. I think that's really huge for them. So obviously this series is today, the LA Thieves series. And yeah, she had a .83 today. Dan negative as well, which I kind of already talked about. Like they're not really having to do much. Bro, and hardpoint, they're pretty much just getting hill time. I mean, even then, Shotzi's doing that too. So, like, this was huge for them. Um, in the search today, Hook was 10-1, I think. Um, so their search is looking great as well. Obviously, you dropped the one to New York, but I mean, even you look at it here, 6-2. I think Fortress is probably one of their better maps. I'm not sure why Thieves played them on that, but it's just like I feel like when you match up against this team, like it's very rare that you kind of see it because like when you play a team like Thieves, right? You kind of know what the weaker link is or like the weak role or gun that they have is. So like if I were playing Thieves, I would pick a sub map if I knew I had better subs or like if I don't know, if my subs were like capable, all right, say I don't know, say I'm New York, right? I'm gonna pick a more sub heavy map against these guys because I know that Kenny's hit or miss. Like Envoy's normally pretty consistent, and Kenny had a crazy fucking series today. He was like 15-1, um, in the start of the control, and I think his only death at the beginning was like Octane team killing him. But still, like I would know what to kind of pick out of that. Like I'd rather have my subs fighting against Kenny and Envoy and having them win the map for them than Draza and Octane. Because I feel like Draza and Octane are a lot more consistent. And I feel like when you look at this Optic team, like you have Shotzi and Hook, right? And before, if you were looking at LAG form Hook, you probably would have went that way because he wasn't that good on that team. But the pacing that these two have, I would say like if I was playing with them, regardless of what my maps were, you're almost pretty much forced to pick an AR map. Like look at this is more of an AR map, right? It's 151, 250. This is like in between ish. But bro, I mean, look what they did in New York on the map. And then look at what they did to Like, I get it's Ravens, but like, I'm probably not playing the sub duo on a map like that. And the scary thing is that you know, majority of their hard points are really, really good. Like, their hotel is good, their Mercado is good, their fortress is good, their Hydra is good. Like, they're probably gonna ban Embassy, so you're gonna have to play two of those four. And like, the way it's looking right now, I mean, if they don't lose form, I just don't see a team that's kind of like up there with them. When you look at FaZe, they're just not a strong hardpoint team. Obviously, they're a good search team, but I think even Optic kind of has like a little bit of an edge in search. Um, I think FaZe's search is good, but I think Optics is a little more like I don't know. FaZe is always going to be at like a consistent level, right? But like Optics is like fluctuating to the point where like if Shotzi is hitting, you are not winning the map. And I think that's like crazy to have. And Hook's form and search has also been really good. That's something to talk about. Like I think just this split and the scrim time they've had in between Major 3, and they did look good at Major 3 after that first winners round and the first series against London. I think that the team has looked a lot better, and I think you're kind of starting to see the effect that Dan has on the team. Because before, like when you had Illy, I feel like Illy was like a lot slower of a player, and I feel like Dan kind of bridges the gap between um almost something like that Crim and Clay were doing in MW for that team. Like I feel like the pacing is just you have two hyper aggressive subs that can also slow it down at the same time, and then Dashi's more of a slower AR, but Dan kind of brings it all together. So I think that's super important. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, let me know what you guys think or who you guys think is the best team in the CDL right now. This would be my pick after watching the matches this weekend. Just let me know what you guys think, and if you have any teams you want to see a video about, let me know, and I will make that video for you guys. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.